I'm Su-Lin, the Grants and Impact Manager at Ovarian Cancer Action, and I'm here with Lesley Howells, who is Maggie's research lead and consultant clinical psychologist, and we're here to discuss her work and an exciting study she's really helped shape, and that's been a randomized study of psychological support for ovarian cancer patients. So Lesley, I'm going to kick off the questioning. Now, we often think of the physical challenges that cancer patients have to face. Why is it important to consider the psychological impact?
Everything's so interlinked, and when people come through their medical treatment, yeah, sure, they're probably feeling better in terms of their body. They're feeling perhaps more optimistic about life ahead, but it takes its toll. It takes an emotional toll. The psychological part has to be considered. It kind of underpins everything, because once the medical treatments are finished, then the person then has to start rebuilding their life.
How much of a difference can psychological support make to a cancer patient and their family?
When somebody's going through a psychological support associated with their cancer, we focus really on the here and now and just how it's impacting, and what very simple by design, although with an evidence base, strategies or way in which they can kind of manage the thoughts and that are going through their minds, manage some of the physical sensations of anxiety or low mood that they're experiencing, so that the fear doesn't cloud things, that they're given the opportunity to be the person they want to be again. People can't choose what happens to them in life. We wish that we could, but we can't. But we can choose how to respond.
Tell me about OvPsych 2.
It's an extraordinary project that we've been doing with Dr. Sarah Blagden. And rather than look at a drug using the randomised control trial, it's actually to look at a psychological approach, a psychological support for women following their ovarian cancer treatment. There were 3 sessions with a clinical psychologist, and the psychologist just did as they normally do. They spoke with the woman and tried to look at what were the key priorities for her in terms of her emotional well-being. And then following on from that, really kind of shaping the sessions with her around those priorities.
What did the results of OvPsych 2 show?
We showed that those 3 sessions actually help people manage the fears of recurrence much more effectively, so that they were investing in their life to a much greater extent in the way that they wished. And it was all based and anchored around a particular handbook, which actually helped the psychologists kind of really keep in line, because it was multi-centre, so there were 8 psychologists across the country all doing the same thing. And we have this manual of care. And what we want to do is actually take that to the clinical nurse specialists and actually see whether they can do it within their settings as effectively as we could do it with the psychologist doing those sessions. So this is one of the books which basically just takes you through the 3 sessions. So the first session, building up tools for managing stress and kind of maximising well-being, looking at how you're thinking and looking at the changes in terms of you before your cancer and you now. And then also looking at, right, well, what are my values? Being loving, caring, generous, all sorts of different things. And those are key to us. And sometimes when we're going through, as I say, something traumatic, then they can feel very distant. And so these sessions will help you re-engage with those, so that you can decide, right, well, in my everyday, how can I be that person again? And the other things it would do would be teaching you how to use very simple mindfulness techniques to pause rather than get swept away with some really horrible scenarios in your head. And particularly when your body has changed through the ovarian cancer, and perhaps you just feel very uncomfortable in any intimate situation or in terms of general relationships with people around you. And this helps, the package part of that was actually helping people to rebuild those relationships again in the way that they wanted them to be.